everything. Not just like when we talk about new stuff, where we get into people getting murdered for talking, and this just goes all the way back. And another thing is history, and that's something you probably see now that I'm really into this. Not politics. Politics is something that I feel is necessary, or like Plato says, those who don't participate in politics, the penalty is you will be governed by your inferiors, or now we could say Satanist. So, you know, I just, you know, knowing about politics is a necessity to me, but it's not what I'm into, you know.
Right. No, it makes a lot of sense. But the history here is incredible. I mean, really.
Yeah, some of the things, like, I'd like to talk about, I found an interesting thing in this book. Now, this was written by Paul Schrag and Xavier Hayes, and the foreword is by Mike Tessarian. And a lot of people probably know Mike Tessarian. He didn't write this, but he adds a little bit to it. These other two guys wrote it. One of the things in here I like is when they get into the Fountain of Youth. A lot of people have heard of, you know, all these things, these stories that have gone on for a while. Where it comes from. Oh, you know about that.
1515.
He was like the second guy, right?
I know history.
Right after Columbus.
Yeah, right.
He's in this book too. Again, he was another guy that they had to cover up what he was finding out. But one of the things, it was really interesting, if I could get to real quick, was, the Fountain of Youth. Now what it is basically they found this place where there's water and this mixture of sea salts and gold and things.
In Florida.
And yeah, and I thought it was interesting because did you know who ended up buying this? Well, here, let me just read it. Where is it real quick? Sorry. Give me one more second. But, why can't I find it? But, it was, what's his name? David Copperfield.
Really?
David Copperfield, okay, American magician David Copperfield claimed that he discovered the true Fountain of Youth amid a cluster of four small islands in the Exuma chain of the Bahamas. He purchased these islands for $50 million in 2006.
Wow, yeah, that much money, eh?
I know. I was wondering how do you get that money?
$50 million bucks. I didn't know he was that loaded, ladies and gentlemen.
Bloodline. So this is him talking to routers in a telephone interview. I've discovered a true phenomenon. You could take dead leaves that come in contact with the water and become full of life again. Bugs or insects that are near death come in contact with the water and fly away. It's an amazing thing, very, very exciting. Copperfield, who is now 52, says he's hired scientists to conduct an examination of the mystical water, but no further information has been offered. That's just one thing. There's things
Hell, who needs plastic surgery, right, ladies and gentlemen?
Well, I become friends with Copperfield.
Wow.
So, you know, that's just one little thing, but, you know, you get into, if people don't know, right here in America, there's a lot of things. There's, in Ohio, there's like these serpent mounds and things. Mississippi mound builders, these Indians were called. These people that were building like pyramids, mounds, you know. Why were all these ancients, you know? You know, to me the story, it just doesn't make sense when you try to listen to that Darwin 33rd degree Mason talk and what they try to push on us. You know, you got it, they make it, you know, like this evolution of caveman to now, but to me it's more, again, opposite land, where it's like de-evolution. You know, you could go back to the Egyptians and it was like the greater stuff was in the beginning and it just got worse and worse to where eventually they didn't know how they even built the pyramids or nothing.
That's interesting. I never thought of it that way. But.
And well, yeah, and you know, a lot of the ancients don't even take credit. Again, when you talk about the Egyptian stuff, they got the hieroglyphics everyone knows about. Now the hieroglyphics, they basically depict every single aspect of their life. Well, you know what they don't depict is how they built the pyramids. You would think that's a big part of your culture. You could maybe let people know about how'd you do it.
Well, maybe they were there even before they were there.
Because you know why? Because
maybe they were always there.
Because they admit they didn't do it.
Because they didn't do it.
When you find out that there's a pyramid, you know, off the, you know, underwater by Japan.
So all that hieroglyphics and all that stuff, they never show the pyramids. Although they were built for the pharaohs to die in their chambers. I mean, I know the actual history of, you know, Interesting. That much I never knew.
And think about all the pyramids in South America, you know, with the Mayans and the Aztecs. You got, you know, the Chechen Itchen and all these are pyramids. They have a lot of things aligning with stars, pyramids. You got the Middle East. You got China has the biggest and the most. One off in the water off of Japan. Japan, do they take credit?
South America.
Japan too. No, we didn't build them. We didn't build them.
South America has. Are there any in North America?
Yeah. Well, there's the one where they talk about. There's one actually off the coast of Florida, underwater.
Oh, an underwater pyramid.
Off the coast of Florida.
Which at one time maybe was above water.
Yeah. You know, the Sphinx is. They found out through archaeology and things with the water erosion on the bottom, because you know. People, you know, think about, you know, people make jokes, you know, I think they're ignorant people to make jokes about, you know, people who live in the desert and, oh, you know, why are they there for thousands of years? Well, actually, thousands of years ago it wasn't desert, you know. Well, 13,000 years ago in Egypt, there was water and there was, you know, so they basically could find this erosion on the bottom of the Sphinx is tied to where there had to be water running, which was like 13,000 years ago. So how did 13,000 years ago? This is supposed to be, you know, man, still pretty primitive. We're, you know, taught not building sphinxes and aligning them to the stars. So to me, history is a big cover up, like politics and like everything.
Well, we know
else
that
we
they cover.
into.
Well, the history is just a lie. I mean, my son, who's 12 years old, he says they don't. He reads his history books. They tell him in school it's ridiculous. They leave everything out. They don't include all important things, facts, you know, like, I don't know, the fact that the Gleiswhite, the Poland was invaded. Now listen, Poland had they had cavalry, they had no tanks.
Yeah.
So you're trying to tell me that the Polish army attacked these Nazis and killed these soldiers to the Gleiswhite incident, Gleiswites, I think it's called. Glaswitz, it's the name of the place in Poland. And what really happened was, of course, the Nazis killed Polish soldiers, dressed them up as Nazis, and blamed the whole false flag event on, now we're going to go into Poland and teach these people a lesson who, again, had horse-drawn carriages. So, history is full of, and they never even tell you that. They just say, Hitler decided to invade Poland. For German superiority.
Yeah,
you know,
living space.
Yeah, living space, right, exactly.
It's all hidden. Everything's hidden.
Everything is really hidden. Really hidden. That's why it's Truth Talk News.
Yeah, I would like people to call up. You know, if people are into this subject like I am, I know there's great researchers, a lot better than me. I mean, I'm learning from these people. This is fairly newer stuff for me. I've only really 2-3 years been into this type of research. But people like Mike Tessarian, Maxwell Jordan, you know, Jonathan Gray, Michael Kreml, archaeologists and people that really, you know,
intrigue you. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Again, I'm new on this too, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know really very much about this part of it. I mean, I know about more current events and what led to this and things of that nature, more geopolitical, as you said before, you know. Mm-hmm. But anyway, call us. This is interesting information. I mean, we're all learning a lot of stuff here. I know I'm learning things I never knew. Call us at 772-905-3018. Again, that's 772-905-3018. And chime in, especially if you have anything to add about the this whole interesting information. I mean,
or disagree. We like debate. Debate.
Yeah, debating is actually sort of the best part of a republic, is that we have the freedom to debate. Again, I refuse to call this country a democracy. Look how much we've been brainwashed, right? Mm-hmm. By the media and by everyone who says we have to make the world safe for democracy, freedom and democracy. Democracy is not what we have. We have a republic. So we should keep the world safe for republics. Not democracy, which is two wolves and a sheep deciding on what to have for dinner, basically. So with that in mind, let's keep this republic strong, and debate is required.
Yeah, and that's how you learn, you know.
Not stifling of thoughts and ideas.
By just everybody saying the
censoring
same thing.
People, like we might have had a censoring incident yesterday's show. For anyone that tried to watch the rebroadcast or might have had any problems.
Even live it happened.
Even live, I know we had some people that were watching that called in and said that there was that it stopped. We started talking about the Zionists in Israel, and again, I don't know. It's interesting.
And the real connection
between America and Israel, and a lot of things about.
And they cut us off.
It seems that we got cut off there, so maybe we are being live stream monitored as well as and formed radio monitored by the federal government through the FBI and that unnamed corporation in Virginia, who's been monitoring us for about a month and a half now, and all internet radio, by the way. To use it in potential lawsuits or proof or evidence of a crime or whatever, I don't know. It's just out of control. Again, back to this whole ridiculous situation that we have to even think of this. However, we do have the video footage, so I'll attempt to put together a YouTube video, a segment, and then I'll even try to put it back here on live stream and see if it was just a regular server issue problem, which is possible. But considering that the actual video tells you the exact length, and I saved it, sort of makes me think that it was there. So it's just not being like you get to exactly 58 minutes into the broadcast, and it just cuts back to the beginning. So we'll get that out to you.
Yeah, it was a good show.
It was a good show.
I'd like to get that out there.
Now listen, I want you to continue with this great information. I'm going to take a second break here. I'll be right back. I had a phone call I have to attend to here.
Okay, I'm going to show the people watching. This is a picture of a big giant. That right there. Now this ain't photoshopped or nothing. This is an image from 1895 at a Western Railway company. This was in England. If you could see the size of that. Now, that was a guy who was 12 feet and 2 inches tall that they propped up in a London railway station in 1895. So if someone, if you've never seen or heard about giants or wanted to see a little bit of evidence, this is one of my favorite images. An actual photo from 1895. I'll show you one more. This is Mount Blanco Fossil Museum in Crosbyton, Texas. The guy standing there, let me get that in there. The guy standing there, that's the guy in charge of the museum, Joe Taylor, director of the Mount Blanco Fossil Museum. Well, that's just like his thigh bone. If you could see that if you're watching this. Compared to the guy, this shows that this guy was about 16 feet tall. Now, like what I was saying before about dinosaurs to Howard, if you've never seen fossils in a museum, and it was just people telling you this, like how people talk about giants in the past, you would sit there and say, well, it's a nice image, but sounds kind of crazy to picture people and animals that big. But when it comes to dinosaurs, we got the museums and we see the bones, and we know of alligators being so big, and even insects were just so much bigger. So everything on this planet was a lot bigger at one point. In my studies, I haven't really figured out why. I don't know if it's bigger, more gravity, or probably something with the air. Probably something with the oxygen and air that caused, things to get smaller on this planet. But other things where I was talking about some of my theories where I would really like to get people to call and maybe debate. You don't have to agree with what I'm saying. This is just my thoughts on it through my research. Where I was talking about, I really think, going back, I'm glad you're back, the ancients talk about there being like 3 creations. Adam and Eve, the one that we all basically hear about, and is the last creation, which I personally believe was these blonde-haired, blue-eyed people that came here. And I really think that that's the bloodline, and these people that are running everything. I have ties to this bloodline. Now you call it alien, whatever. I think it goes back to Zeus in my studies. Zeus and all that was real. It was real. Again, we're taught to not believe in these things, because they change the stories throughout time.